going to be talking about why My Hero Season 6 might have not been as great as everyone thought it was. Let's get into it. Hey there, y'all. I'm going to be talking about My Hero Season 5. If you've already seen it, this is the video for you. I am Vandal, and I am a mangaka that makes manga. If you're interested in that other sort of stuff, you can check out the other videos on my channel on how to make manga. So let's get into why My Hero Season 5 wasn't as good as it could have been. And the first part comes with the title of this video, and that is the movie really impacted a lot of Season 5 elements. It came out the same time that Season 5 did, and it's My Hero, I think Rising Heroes or Heroes Rising, came out the same time as Season 5. And one of the things that tends to happen during that time is that there are staff cuts. Staff usually gets moved from one project to another project, and that affects the overall quality of the animation and the direction and some of the things that I'll talk about later. But the fact that those two things are competing with each other causes this conflict of interest, and it delves more deeper than that later as we get into the latter half of the season, where they talk about, you know, the villains, and I'll get more into that. What happens as a result of less staff? I think this season, I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with me, tell me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think the animation quality went really down this season. I don't know, maybe in the latter half because they used a lot of the budget to have like the fight scenes between the students. The My Villain Academia part didn't feel as greatly animated, and just overall, I don't know, it feels like maybe over time or because of staff shortages, the animation quality at points didn't feel great. And that's not to say there weren't points where it was actually like through the roof. Sometimes it was like super amazing, sometimes it was not. Like there were high peaks, like when Ida just went off. I don't understand why they went so hard for that scene. I guess they felt they needed to give Ida something, but it was really cool. I mean, and then there was also the ending part with Shigaraki. That was kind of cool too. But overall quality didn't feel like it was there, and I think that was a lack of staffing. And then I talked about it a little bit, but like competition between the movie and competition between Season 5. And they wanted to push that. And what happened is, because the movie is about, like, I think Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, and basically like Deku's a villain. For some reason, I don't know the true plot of it, but since this Season 5 was a lot about those kind of three heroes, they really pushed that through this arc. So we focused a lot on the kids and their development. And as a mangaka and someone who writes on this channel, I love character development. I think character development is really good. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think what happened here is the focus became on those three, and then the whole season became about like Deku, Todoroki, and Bakugo, because they also were with Endeavor for the training arc. And I honestly don't think it was as interestingly paced, and I think I'll put in my bias here. Maybe it's because I read the manga. I mean, it's probably because I read the manga. But I feel like a lot of the season was too long, especially with the part that had to deal with the students fighting each other. It was cool to a point. I feel like it dragged a little bit too long, to the point where I even felt like there was filler. I don't feel like it was that long before when I was reading it, but reading and watching is two different things, so we'll not even put that there. But even just for the anime, it felt a little bit longer than it needed to be. Like each match just kind of dragged on towards the end. There were some cool ones, but they weren't all that great. And then we had them change around the arc, so they shifted around different things. So they put the Endeavor arc before they put the My Hero Villain Academia arc, and I feel like they also spent a bit of time. And this is funny because I read the manga and I had to go back and look, and I felt like a lot of the episodes during that little mini arc were just filler, but all of that happened. So I don't know, something about the direction and the pacing of this season just felt really slow. And then the biggest part that a lot of people are having trouble with or really upset about is My Villain Academia. Like, I think that really got impacted for Western viewers. Now, from what I have seen and reception, there have been, you know, people in Japan and Asia, they love that character development with the students, and I think that's valid. However, as someone who also believes in character development, I think it was very important for the villains to actually get some of that character development, because too many times we have villains in stories that don't actually get built up. And I understand you don't want to build up villains because this is a kid's show and you don't want to show kids that, you know, villains can be empathetic, but I think it makes for more interesting conflict and you get invested in the villain's growth. Because when I was reading a lot of it, just seeing how they started from like ragamuffins, they started from like nobodies, and they, like, you know, slowly grew themselves up. And I mean, granted, it was a very short amount of time, but it felt believable, and it was just something that they needed, because honestly, the League of Villains were a bunch of bums before this whole thing happened, and I think they should have got their time to shine. But that is just something that maybe Westerners and myself are just gonna have to deal with. And I think it goes back to that idea of like pacing and where their priorities were, because they want to push the movie, so most of it was about the students and it would lead up into the film once you saw it. But the parts with the My Villain Academia, I think, were lacking direction, because I don't know, maybe it's because I make manga and I want to be a director for some things, or anime, but I envisioned it so differently from what I actually got. And the thing that really, I think, bothered me the most was how they did the direction. Like, for example, the opening. I thought the opening in the beginning was really whack. I was horrible. I was disgusted by it. However, it's grown on me now, so I've made my peace with that. But I think that opening, even if they kept it like in the Endeavor arc, should have changed visually for the My Villain Academia arc. And I know a lot of you at this point will say they did make a little bit of a change. They did. They just put the little My Villain Academia, but the way it happens in the manga is like there's this nice transition where it starts from My Hero and then glass shatters and then you see My Villain Academia and then you just see the villains and you get to go with them on this story. They cut a few things from the story, which I don't understand why they did. In the beginning, seeing like a cult of groups who are against metahumans, and that was a little bit of world building that was just cut out, which may have actually added to what was going to happen in the movie. So I'm not sure why. Maybe there was too much violence, but they could have cut that out. I don't know why they made those choices. Also, just like how they skipped right to the fight and put things out of order, I think just someone seeing it from the other side, it just could have been way better. The music could have been better. And I think also, this is just a My Hero thing, like it was too light. It needed more of those like dark tones, dark shades, because you know, it's villains. Villains are gonna do villain stuff. They are going to, you know, kill people. It's gonna be blood. It's gonna be dark. But too many things happen in the daytime. Too many things are too light. And normally, I would never say this about an anime. Anime usually, sometimes for me, is too, like, literally dark. You know, like you can't see things. But this time it was way too light. And I think that contrasting tone just really didn't do it any favors for me in the direction aspect. I think that took away from it, and maybe like a better director could have pulled that together and made it more interesting and more impactful. Because even the characters that they fight in that part of the story, they don't even get like enough development to know who they are or to get an idea of who they are. I feel like they just like, we gotta do one thing, we gotta go fight those guys because they kidnapped someone, and there's no like build up. And it was a little weird in the manga too, like the way it was pacing, it didn't make as much sense. So I guess I could understand like how it was hard to translate, but I feel like it could have been done better introducing those characters, because I feel like we're kind of just here with them now and we don't really know anything about them. And granted, there's a lot of characters, but I think it could have been done way better, and the direction could have been more succinct and just tailored to a villain-esque experience. This is the other half that I talked about, the character development earlier. So in the character development part, the students got way more development in their powers, how they relate to each other, their motivations, and it was great. But I feel like that was missed out on in the My Villain Academia part. Like the villains didn't get to get built up. They needed that character development as well, because like I said before, they were bums, and now we want to see them grow as well. So I don't know. It's a conflict of like, what do you choose? And I guess they chose to go with the heroes in this one, and I guess I could understand it, but I'm really pained by that aspect. Now, what does that actually mean for season 6? Now, I think season 6 is going to be amazing. Like, I promise you guys, hold on. I promise you guys, season 6 will make you cry. It's going to be everything you want it to be. It is definitely what a war arc will bring from any show. So please make sure you watch it. And if you haven't even watched My Hero, and you're this far in the video, thank you. But check out My Hero. It's a great show, but season 6, y'all, is going to blow your mind. Be ready. But I think this also speaks to just one last point I want to talk about, and that's the trend of anime movies. So we talked about the Heroes Rising movie. There's also the Dragon Ball movie coming out, the Jujutsu Kaisen movie coming out, and then the Demon Slayer movie that happened. And Demon Slayer, I think, is a big proponent of why a lot of these things are happening. Demon Slayer blew up. All the other animes are following suit with their own movies. Granted, My Hero has had 2 movies prior, but I think, and Dragon Ball has also had their movies as well, but I think like more of that market is shifting to that, or at least trying to push it to see like what is going to do well and how excited people are going to be about it. Because I can tell you, Demon Slayer destroyed the box office, so they wanted that money as well, trying to capitalize on it during the time, you know, while they have with people who are really hyped for anime movies. And I could get that, but I just hope that in the future that maybe there can be a better timeline schedule between like a movie and a season, so they don't conflict with each other, so each can get their proper treatment, you know, because they plan these things way in advance. And I think with some proper planning, they can like get something that is way better than what we've been seeing here. So some takeaways we can take away from this as manga artists. One of the things you need to focus on is definitely character development, not only for your heroes, but your villains. Sometimes you'll have a villain that is shrouded in shadow, and that is okay, but we want to make sure that we are developing them. Think about also the overall tone of your story. How does it lean in a certain part? Make sure you're like adjusting your tone so you don't get whiplash, or your reader doesn't get whiplash from reading something that is happy but in a somber tone. Those contrasting things cannot sometimes lead to the greatest of outcomes. Just make sure that you are trying to balance that. I'm not saying that these are hard and set rules, but just some things to think about. Yeah, I just want you guys to make sure you're developing your characters and being cognizant of all the characters involved in your story, not just the main ones. It's an important thing just to learn as a writer. I just wanted to throw my little nugget of there of just information, so when you're thinking about your manga and developing your characters, you know, you can do all that good stuff. And if you want to develop your characters more, I have a video on making and starting your manga that you can check out right here, which is really awesome and really informative, that can really develop your characters, whether they're villains or they're heroes. I know today was supposed to be the how to ink and pencil your manga video. I am sorry. I've been super busy this week, and I was going to put out the video, but I wanted to make sure that the video was actually of good quality. So it will be out definitely next week. I apologize to everyone. I'm sorry, I've been super busy this week. I have an event to do. I should be there right now. So just bear with me. I appreciate everyone who has, you know, joined in the last few days. Just a bit to note, we've actually hit our whole yearly goal for subscribers. I'm super surprised that we made it here so fast. I think I need to up it, and I'll be coming out with more videos to talk about it, and you know, check that community tab as well. So I hope you accept my apology. I know if you made it to the end of this video, it was a little bit of a long rambly mess, but I appreciate any and, you know, all comments about like, what did you think about the season? Was it great for you? Where did you read the manga and then watch the anime, or vice versa? And what did it mean for you? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me in the comment section down below. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and you know, if you can hit that like button, subscribe if you want to learn more about how to make manga, or me just talking about manga and anime in a different lens, you know, hit that like button, subscribe, you know, hit that bell for notifications when you want to hear things that I have to say. But I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace. Boy.